So this vlog that I'm about to do is actually a vlog recap because I deleted the original. So just imagine me really irritated right now as I recap this story for you. So my day started off really pretty. I walked around filming all the streets that I walked down, and then I get to school and my teacher tells me that she wants to have one-on-ones. She didn't tell us the day before that we had one-on-ones. She told us like an hour before our one-on-ones that we were going to have one-on-ones. So I wasn't prepared for a one-on-one. I didn't have anything that I wanted to look at, work at. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just get there and I'm going to see what she thinks that I need to do. So I get to my one-on-one and she starts by asking me to do something in Kenya, Rwanda. And she tells me about how my language is going and this, that, and the other. And then part of her job as an LCF, which doesn't stand for Language Culture Facilitator, but those are the only words that I can think of to go with those letters right now. So part of her job is to come to the house and like find out how I'm integrating and if I'm learning how to do things like cook and clean and such and such. So that way when I leave my host family, I'm going to be by myself. So I need to be able to do all these things. I know that. It's cool, whatever. So I get there and she starts by saying that my mom says, and from what she's noticed, that I'm never home. And then when I am home, I don't do anything. Like I don't wash clothes or clean my room or cook or any of that kind of stuff. And basically she was saying that like I'm never home, and when I'm home I miss curfew and stuff. Now I will sit here and say that I have missed curfew once, and she is not aware of that time that I missed curfew. And see, we're supposed to be home at 6:30. I missed curfew. I got home at 6:40. My bad. So, and then she keeps citing, y'all remember that time that I told you that I thought I was in trouble because my mom's brother died, so she wasn't going to come home that night? So, like, somebody from the homestay coordinator came to my house to, like, comfort me since my mom wasn't going to come home. And they came at like 5 o'clock. Curfew is not till 6:30. So I'm not home till 6:30. And then that event happened. And then another time, my teacher, she came to my house to do a homestay visit. And she came to the house at 6. Curfew is at 6:30. So when I got here at 6:30, I immediately came in. I went to my room and I sat down. So, and then eventually one of my little sisters was like, hey, your teacher's here. And I was like, oh, snap, I didn't know that. Let me go speak to her. Like, as soon as I found out she was there, I went to go talk to her, right? So, in my one-on-one, she goes like, you're never at home, and you're never making curfew. Like that time that the coordinator came to your house and that time that I came to your house. And I'm like, well, both those nights I made curfew. No, I was not home before curfew, because curfew's not till 6:30, so I'm not going to come home till 6:30. And then she was like, oh, okay, well, let's talk about the fact that you don't wash your clothes, which doesn't make any sense because I wash one day a week. That day has been fluctuating, but I wash one day a week. And apparently my mom was telling her that, like, I don't wash my clothes, or she doesn't understand how I can wash in the dark because I wash when I get home at 6:30 after curfew. And by that time, the sun's usually down. So I put on my headlamp and I go and I wash my clothes. So my mom's like, I don't understand how she can wash in the dark. So she must not be washing, is the way that Olive was making it seem. Olive is my teacher. Is the way that my teacher was making it seem. So I was like, okay. And then she kept going on about how I don't clean my room. And I'm like, so if I don't clean it, then who cleans it? Because my room is currently clean. That didn't make any sense to me. So she was like, based on all this stuff, we should write a contract that says that I'm going to do all the things that I do, but my mom says that I don't do. And I'm sitting here like looking at her like, make a contract. Like, this is the first I've heard of it. Like, I feel like you need to make a contract. When you tell me once, you tell me again, it has been working. We make a contract, and if you don't follow the contract, then that leads to consequences and repercussions. So she's like, yeah, let's have a written contract. And I'm like, no, since I know now, like, give me the opportunity to do these things. And then if I don't do those things, then we can make a contract. So based on what I've been hearing, when she was asking me to write the contract, she was also saying that like my mom doesn't know where I am and that makes her irritated or whatever. So she cited one event where we have school on Saturdays. We have half days on Saturday. And we go to school from like 8 to noon or 1 ish, right? And then we're done for the day. So on Saturday, I told my mom that I was going to school. I went to school. After I got out of school, I ran around and did hood rat things with my friends. We went around and we were just hanging out or whatever. But apparently my mom wants me to go from like school and then like come home immediately after school, and not just on Saturdays, but like every day. So on this particular Saturday when I didn't come home, my mom calls my teacher and goes, "Where is Shanae? Do you have school on Saturdays?" And my teacher was like, "Yeah, we have school. But school's over. Like, I'm currently in the city. It's my off time. I'm in the city, being in the city." So my teacher was saying that, like, because my mom doesn't know where I am, she could get in trouble. And I don't want to get my teacher in trouble. She's a nice lady. I don't want to get her in trouble. So that happens. And then, yeah, she was just talking about how I could get her in trouble. So I'm like, so my mom expects me to come home from school every single day. No, I didn't even do that when I was in school. Like, I spend all this time learning this language. I don't want to go home and immediately be back in school, which is how it feels to be home sometimes, because you have to learn new words and you have to get your conversation down. So it basically feels like I'm back in school. Like, no, I want to stay out with my friends, and then I'm going to be home for curfew. So I was telling her that and telling her to give me the opportunity to like fix it or whatever. But the one thing that was really getting me really upset is, don't tell me I'm doing something wrong when I'm not doing anything wrong. So when I got home, my plan was to go ask my mom, like, why did you talk to my teacher? Why didn't you talk to me? And also just to see if there was any kind of clarification, because, you know, we were doing the your mom said and I'm saying, so it was a lot of he said, she said. And I'm sure some things got lost in translation coming from my mom to my teacher and from my teacher to me, you know? So I was trying to ask my mom what was up and why this was happening. But of course, I don't have the vocab to ask her that. She doesn't have the vocab to understand what I'm saying in English, and I don't have the vocab to say it in Kenya or Rwanda. So basically that made me even more frustrated, because now it's like you're telling me all these things and I can't even go to the source and find out what's really up. So that night, before my mom had come home, I was waiting for her to come. After I was like already irritated from what I just heard, my room is right next to the kitchen, and in the kitchen we've been using the wood burning stove, so there was a lot of smoke. And due to my asthma, I couldn't sit in my room, but I really did just want to like sit by myself and listen to my music, to calm myself down and read my book. I can't sit in my room because I can't breathe in here. So I'm sitting in the living room, and my little sisters, as adorable as they are, and I'm very happy that they like me and they want to be around me, they orbit me. They orbit me constantly, and like my gravity, whenever I'm in the vicinity, draws them into me. And you know, in the beginning that was fine, but now like my only child syndrome is starting to show. Like, I have only child syndrome. I don't like being a big sister. I don't like that at all. To my older siblings, if I was the way that they are, it's my bad. I'm sorry. But my only child syndrome is like, it's like messing me up because it's making me really irritated to be around them sometimes. So I'm sitting on the couch trying to listen to my music, trying to read my book. And I guess I had come home early that day, so I guess my house girl had called my mom to tell her that I was home early, and my mom told my sisters to like teach her things in Kinyarwanda. So one of my sisters was like writing sentences, and she's like, translate this, say this in Kinyarwanda. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. I want to sit here. I want to read my book. I want to listen to my music. I want to read my book and listen to my music. And that's it. I don't want to do what you want me to do. I don't want to do that. So they're like, oh, okay. She doesn't want to do that. So I'm sitting here. I'm trying to read my book. And they're like just in my air bubble next to me and on me. And they're like, they're not doing anything. They're doing normal stuff. Like, they're breathing. But for some reason at that moment, like, you breathing is like really making me want to like remove your air pipe, because I really don't want you breathing in me. And they were like trying to read my book over my shoulder. And I'm not reading a book that's appropriate for people under the age of 18. So I'm like, back thee up. Like, I'm telling them that it's hot and I don't want them by me, because I don't want to be like, ooh, your breathing is getting on my nerves. Like, I hate the way you breathe right now, little girl. So I was just even more irritated. And then when my mom came home, I couldn't talk to her, so I was even more irked. So that was like my very first like frustration, like my very first full frustration. Because I've had some things that have been difficult. Learning the language is difficult, but that day I was like honestly like frustrated, like upset about it. Like I had to blast my rock and roll and my trap music for a good couple hours until I was like ready to like re-enter into society. And even still, I just wanted to read my book and listen to my music. But one thing that my clique has really been talking about is you have to choose to be happy. Like you have to wake up in the morning and you have to choose to be happy, or else you're gonna find yourself in this pit of frustration. So the next day, I will admit that I woke up that morning and I did not choose to be happy. I woke up that morning and I let that frustration still have hold of me. But when I got around my clique, when I got around my group of friends and all the people that support me and that I support, just being able to talk to them and feel their energy, you know, at that point, I chose to be happy. I chose to get over that frustration. So that's why I'm really happy that I have all of them to be my support, because if I didn't have them, it would have been a different story, you know? So I really appreciate them for that. So yeah, there's a recap of my first frustrating day. There you go. So, gotta choose to be happy. And that's what I'm going to choose to do from now on. I'm going to choose to be happy. So there.
What's poppin'? It's your girl, Nay. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to push that like button and push that subscribe button. Share this on all of your social media. Here is all of my information. I'm going to check you guys later, alright? Deuces.